If you're interested in FIFA Mobile, I currently have a second channel where we run a FIFA Mobile Road to Glory, link down below. And if you need any coins for Ultimate Team to get a head start on the game, head to the link in the description. Use the code TVM for a discount at checkout. What is going on, guys? TVM here. Welcome back to a brand new video. And of course, it is the Road to Glory. I'm not quite sure what episode we're on. Does it matter? I don't think it does. In the background, I tell you what, we have some sexy games, some slinky gameplay. There were a couple of games this weekend, or rather yesterday, that really annoyed me. Just, I think maybe 3. I do have them written down which ones, but I've not edited this part yet, so I don't know what you're watching. But I've just finished my weekend league. I say just, I finished it hours ago. It's still, for me, it is still Sunday evening, night. I'm rendering a video right now, and I thought, you know what, let me commentate over what the gameplay would be. Because it's raw, and I can talk about it as if it's just happened, because, it has. I thought, right, I've got a little while now, and it was about, I don't know, maybe 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. I've got a little while. I need 7 wins. Maybe if I get 5 now in this little stint, and then I can have a little break, do Team of the Week predictions, maybe prepare a couple of other videos, and then go back and finish off the remaining two wins or whatever. I played one game, and it's probably the game you're watching right now, actually, and it finishes 6-5 to my opponent. Every pass I make is a dodgy pass, and it's partly due to my bad decision making. But as the sort of session went on, the gameplay was getting progressively worse. And I'm not blaming the gameplay for everything, because there are 4 games in a row where I go mental. I go into some sort of weird zen place, and I just smash the living daylights out of all 4 people in a row. The 6-5 game was against someone who got very lucky. There were a couple of goals in there in particular where I'm flabbergasted how he's managed to score them. Cannot believe Joe Gomez scores an own goal at one point, and it's just insane. It's such a bad own goal. It just bounces all over the place, comes back off the post. You've probably already seen it, but it's shocking. It's unreal, and the gameplay in general just wasn't fun. Then after that game finished, I was like, you know what? I'm going for it now. I am turning into some sort of pro player. You know when they take kickoff? I had a game plan. My game plan was, I'm going to do as many step overs, ball rolls, and la croquetas and rainbow flicks as I can possibly get into it, and elasticos. I'm going to do as many as I can, because I'm going to try and make my opponent think that they are up against the second coming of Tex. I don't know how good Tex is this year at the game, but either way, I'm going to make people think that they are playing a pro. And with the team that I have that ability to scare people almost into thinking, actually, yeah, this could be, it's not going to be a pro because I'm on PC, but it could be either a pro who has PC as well, or a player who is good enough to be pro and who isn't, you know, for whatever reason. Because I think if I was good enough to be a pro in this game and go to events and stuff, I wouldn't. I just create content and show top 100 rewards every week. Not that I'll ever be that good, but my intention was to take kickoff and just skill as much as I could, and simple skills, but just to make it look like I was moving the ball, you know, like how pros do. And I did it, and I managed to do it for 4 games in a row, and I managed to just play through. And I think it was just it wasn't even just a case of I'm going to make it look like I was good. I turned into a good player there. The gameplay was fine. It didn't have a problem with it. Maybe 1 or 2 passes were a little bit slow and sluggish, but for the most part, it all felt really good. And I was just fluid, flowing through my opponent as if he wasn't even there, and we were scoring goals for fun. And I actually really enjoyed myself. I got 1 rage quit, and I thought, that's not bad. I got 8 wins. I'll go maybe get another couple now, and you know how long it'll take me, we'll see. Get a rage quit in the next game, and I'm like, oh, hang on, surely not the hat trick. And all of a sudden he leaves, and then I get into a rhythm. Then I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to make the next guy rage quit. I'm going to do exactly the same thing again, and I'm going to make him rage quit. And he did, and he left, and I was like, wow, I cannot believe I've just made 4 people rage quit in a row. I've never done that before in my life. I'm looking at my notes now, and I'm holding my microphone, so if it sounds a bit weird, I do apologise. So it was 3-0, 2-0, 2-1. Then I didn't write that down. And then the next 2 games, unfortunately, after the 4 rage quits in a row, they ended in losses. The gameplay in the very middle part of that 4-2 loss that you may be watching right now, or maybe you've just finished watching, after the 4th rage quit, the 4-2 loss that I took was horrendous. The first part of the game was fine, and all of a sudden you could feel it switch. And it wasn't just me who could feel it, it was my opponent as well. Because his passing all of a sudden went from being quite precise and crisp into neither of us can pass the ball. It was horrendous. I couldn't turn around. And it was like that for nearly every single game that I played for the rest of the day. The next game finished 3-2. We lost that one. Then we got another rage quit. And then we got 2 wins in a row. One finished 2-0, the other 2-1. So sorry to spoil the gameplay, I guess. But like I said, I can't see what's on screen, so I thought I'd just tell you what's happening. But I actually, for the most part at least, even though I did shout quite a lot, I did really enjoy myself. I really like the team that I've got, for obvious reasons. And I felt like when the gameplay worked, I could do some really nice things. And even though I know full well, even if I played that well in good gameplay the entire weekend, I wouldn't have finished any more than Gold 3. Maybe I could have, but I wouldn't have gone any more than Gold 3. I still really enjoyed it, and I think that the more I play, the better I'm going to get, obviously, and maybe the more I'll enjoy it again. I wouldn't say it's a problem, because it's not. The weak link in this team right now is Ocampos. He was, I wouldn't say sluggish, but every time I brought a Tal on, I felt a little bit better, because he's a little bit more mobile, got a little bit more about him, and I think that having a Tal off the bench is definitely the way to go. Definitely a player that I'd like to maybe get into the team full time. I just don't think I'm going to be able to do it. So I'm definitely on the lookout now for a replacement to Ocampos. I'm not convinced of selling him until I know what's going to happen this week with icons and what have you. Because if they drop icon SBCs this week, which is in the roadmap, they said it themselves. Mid-November, which is exactly what we are right now, icon SBCs are coming out. Beginning of December, icon swaps is coming out. So we know what's about to happen this week, theoretically, so long as they're true to their word. It's just a case of which ones we get to, choose from. Evan says, you know what I would like to see? Then release icon SBCs, but have different SBCs for each version, so you could choose which one you wanted. Obviously, the prices would be different for each version, but it would allow people with different budgets. Yes, I agree. I do agree. I think that EA won't. I mean, I know they won't do that, but also there are 100 icons. Are there 100 icons as in there are 100? Now, there have to be 100 different icons, right? There have to be 100 different players. I'm sure that that's the case. So if that is the case, then that means they would need to release 300. If they release one SBC per icon, they would need to release 300 or 400 SBCs if they did it for the moments as well. And I don't think they do that, because it would take you... Imagine they did it in alphabetical order and you wanted to go and get yourself Vidic. You'd be scrolling for days. So until they fix the system, because I think their SBC, like their menus in general for things like SBCs, they're very linear, because you have to scroll until you find it. There's no drop-down menu system kind of thing, right? So even FIFA Mobile have a better system for finding what you want, but for whatever reason FIFA don't, right? So it is what it is. Until they fix that system, they won't do it. But it would be nice if they had, for example, you click on, I don't know, Roberto Baggio, and it opens up, and then you select which card you want, and then you go into the SBC set. That would be really good. I also wouldn't mind it if they grouped together maybe 5 icons, so they gave us a player pick. They did this before, but I'm talking a little bit better than what they did before. So they gave us a player pick last time, or one of the times. Maybe FIFA 19 they did it, where they brought out icon set 1 and they gave us 5 choices. If they did that, but kept them there forever and made them repeatable, and then maybe you could take So, for instance, I'm going to go and complete Roberto Baggio. I've now got the icon, and I can submit him as well as another team in to get his better version or something. I don't know. It would be really nice to be able to do something along those lines. We could keep talking about things like this for a long time. But as today was a pure gameplay episode, I feel like we should end on a couple of packs. The only problem is I'm currently rendering. I don't really want to open up my game because it's going to slow it right down, and I kind of want to finish this right now. So whatever you're seeing in the background, I'm going to react to tomorrow. You'll know before I do because I haven't opened them yet. So yeah, I don't know right now what is on your screen, but we are opening some UCL packs, no doubt, maybe doing some more gameplay and such as well. But I really hope that the icons come this week, and I hope that they're not too overpriced, because I've got a bad feeling about SBCs this year have been really, really expensive, to the point where I've not wanted to complete hardly any of them, because they've been just, like, you can go and pick up the equivalent of whatever card they've dropped on the market for like just far less. That Koscielny, for example, it wasn't a bad SBC, but for the price I could have paid for that, I could nearly have gone and got Varane or something stupid. Like, maybe that's not a direct comparison, but there have been a fair few SBCs already this year that have dropped, that have just been far too expensive. Heung-min Son is a prime example of that as well. You can go and get Heung-min Son right now, the player of the month, for, I think it's I think it comes in at about 600,000 coins. So they've just, like, Felipe Anderson, they dropped, it was about 50k. I don't think that's that bad. Heung-min Son is 600k. Heung-min Son, 600,000 coins. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think it's a bad card at all. I like the card. I like the normal card. I like the upgrade. The upgrade is I would say it's not, like, negligible, but it is minimal, definitely. 2 across the board, 4 in passing, 2 everywhere else, 4 physical as well. So that's not too bad. But if you were to say, okay, a lot of people will use things they have in their club. But let's just say, for example, you had 600k. Would you go and buy the players required to go and do that Son SBC? No. What are you going to do instead? You're going to go buy Marcus Rashford, or you're going to go buy a combination of other things. Marcus Rashford is about 200,000 coins. You've then got 400k free to do whatever you want. You could go and complete Felipe Anderson, Alexandro, pick yourself up a Marcus Rashford, and probably still have change for the price of that Heung-min Son. I'm just not convinced by the price of it, and that is worrying, because that could be the basis of what they do with the icons. So I'm hoping that they don't completely overprice icons, and I'm hoping we get something we can all do, from the cheapest to the most expensive. But hey, we'll have to wait and see what happens. When they drop them is when we'll do our next episode, unless rewards come first. So I'll either see you on Thursday, or if there's something else worth doing a video on tomorrow or Wednesday, I'll see you then. But that's going to do it for today. If you have enjoyed whatever you've just seen, do me a favor and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and until the next time, goodbye.
Join the Betting Rebellion and find out what your football knowledge is really worth.